Tonight on Metropolis Edition, Metallo is back, baby.
No. It's not. Metallo's not back. It's the introduction of a new character, Steel Man.
That's right. We had Puke Face last weekend, and now we have Steel Man. I like it.
I
It's a
thought it
good
was going to
name.
go away, by the way, but I'm sorry, Dave. I have to do this to you live on
Mm,
YouTube. Look right there.
yeah.
Do you know
What?
something that's not right?
No.
It's our Batman versions of ourselves.
Well, yeah. That's the only icon I have when it comes
Oh, it
to.
is? I've
Yeah, I
never
don't have.
noticed it
Yeah,
before.
yeah. That's been on all the DC fan-animated
Oh,
stuff.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, because when it comes to StreamYard, I mean, I should probably like make a new one, but when you have like the logos, like there's the Vodka Stream one, I still have the casual Batman one, and then of course just my face, I have that one, but that's the one I have just for DC Fan-animated. So
Oh wow, okay. I didn't know it. I love the super
yeah, we
I
got
love
the
this one
Superman one.
changing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one's
I
cool.
made
Yeah.
sure that was good, but with that one, yeah, I should probably make like make one for that. But good catch with that. So I'll work on that.
I have to admit
We'll
though, I was watching the intro going, is he gonna play the right one this time?
of
Is he
course.
gonna Yeah.
I got both the intros locked in now. Don't worry, we're good.
Good, good.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, welcome to DC Fan-Animated. I am, of course, Dave, the film junkie, and of course, with me as always, Mr. Scott McCullen. How's it going?
Oh, it's going just fine. I'm just apparently being a pain in the ass. What else is new?
What else is new, of course, and everything. And I love, we got people in the chat, and King right here just goes like, I'm not sure if using Terminator's endoskeleton design for Metallo is a good idea. Interesting.
Well, but you know what? But I get where he is coming from. It does
Yeah.
look very T800, not
Yeah,
gonna
it does.
lie. But it still matches the design of him from, you know, from season 1. The only
Yes.
difference is we only had like one shot right before the surgery of what the Metallo body looked like without anything on it. So
That's very true.
it's not like it's a wrong design. It's
No.
just that we're just used to seeing him either in like half Corbin face or at least Corbin's clothes. Like this is the first time we've seen it like everything completely blown off.
Exactly. And
So
you're gonna have to exit and come back in. We haven't had this problem in a bit, but yeah, Scott's feed, of course, is pixelating, which happens, so don't worry. It's always, usually a good fix right there when he just pops right back in. The open reminds me of that one scene of Superman cape in the TV show. Okay. Hereafter. So Game City Savior right here is well, obviously we're gonna like start getting into it, but they said the opening scene I like I said, I'm one of those that eventually I'm just gonna sit down and watch all of Smallville because I did not get into it. I was one of those people that was like, nah. But I got into Gotham, but I get into anything Batman. But
hold on, sorry. I have a little one who's
oh,
decided to interrupt the show. Give me 1 second.
no
Keep
problem.
talking. Keep
No,
talking.
no, I'll keep on talking. So yeah, I'm basically yeah, I one of these days I will. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's just like when Smallville came out, I just had a tough time accepting the fact that the football game, somebody just got hurt and they're carting them off. Ooh, someone got hurt pretty badly, it looks like. Anytime that they cart somebody off like that from the field, yeesh, that's not good. I wonder what happened exactly. I wonder who it is. And it's somebody it's Cook from KC. Looks like bad, probably like a leg injury or something like that. Anyways, that's besides the point. Sorry, I tend to have the football game on when we're doing this in the background. But yeah, one of these days I'm going to sit down and watch Smallville. One of these days, who knows when it will be, but a lot of people give me shit for not watching Smallville, but hey, one of these days I will.
Well, it's 10 years worth of a show. I mean, even
Yeah.
when you do commit to it, and it's back when shows were like 22 episodes long.
A lot. Maybe like when we're done with animated, we'll start going to the live action TV shows. Whoa, we'll keep it going, folks, and we'll be well into our 50s when
I don't know. Just to get through the end of the animated universe is going to take us a while.
I know, that's the thing. That's why I made that joke. That's why I said well into our 50s, because I mean we still got a ways to go when it comes to this animated universe that we love oh so much. But yes, we are back in Metropolis, and we are talking about action figures, which I will say that, what's funny is, like, obviously when I make the thumbnails for these streams, when you type in Superman the Animated Series, and I usually type in the title.
That wasn't going to help you at all,
No,
was
did
it?
not,
No,
because
no,
nothing
no.
but action figures from Superman the Animated Series came about. So you literally have to say episode. You had to put episode to actually get a shot from the actual episode. But I found that funny because I typed it in real quick, and then all of a sudden I just see a bunch of
And then you went wah wah wah.
Yeah, I was like, nope, that's not the way to do it. And then when I went to the search bar again, it like completed. It said episode. There it is. And so there we go. And then we get a shot from the episode. But yes, we get the return of John Corbin as Metallo. But like you said, and like we were just talking about from King's chat right there, where he said, like, yeah, it does, when it comes to the design. I mean, and then I'm kind of like going back to the Hardak, the Batman the Animated Series. Those
yes,
I mean, you kind of have a resemblance right there too to what those robots look like. I mean, when you're gonna have like something like, I mean, it's hard not to just think about Terminator when it comes to something like this.
I think the deal though is that if you're going to do a android body,
Yeah,
and it's going to be a skeleton of a person, basically. And this wasn't a skeleton though. He's got the broad chest. It's not empty. It's not hollow looking at all. I mean, you don't have a lot of variety in design
really
to make
don't.
it look humanoid.
Yeah, you really don't. You really don't. And you know what's funny too, even just talking and even watching this episode and even thinking about when you see the T-800 without any flesh or anything on it, is I always get creeped out because there's no lips and you just get teeth.
Teeth, yeah.
There is just something creepy about that, because it's just, it's just nothing but teeth. And it just adds to the aesthetic that's horrific, which, when these kids do first see, I mean, obviously it starts off with we get Angela Chen back. We've seen her before. Metropolis, and I love like how they do like this expose about where are they now, and you see Lobo, you see like
Parasite, Toy
you see,
Man.
yeah, you see past villains, and it's just kind of like funny how I forgot about that. And again, what's funny about this episode too, just like the last episode, when the first Metallo episode, the last scene. Oh, dude, I was like, that's what I remember the most. Just like when we saw him walking at the bottom of the ocean, the way see him end here, I was like, yes. I was like, that's this is what I remember the most from this episode.
It's funny. The thing I remember the most was the lava melting off the kryptonite suit.
Okay. Yeah.
Like as soon as he wore the suit on the island, I went, oh yeah, lava melts it off of him. But I'm just like, that's a random thing to remember about this episode.
But for me, like when I was watching this again tonight, and obviously he was like, oh yeah, this is gonna have, he's not gone, of course. And then all of a sudden, like before they actually showed him, I'm like, oh, I remember this. He's like this, like and then sure enough, such a beautiful. We'll get to that, but I love how it ends.
Yeah, that's such a cool part of the episode. The one thing about this episode that's just going to bother me throughout, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out there.
Do it.
The kids.
Yeah.
I am someone who kid characters in a cartoon. We know why they're there, but it's like I've got Batman in my basement. It's like, why? No, granted, this episode's a lot better. This episode is so much better than I've got Batman in my basement. But my point is that when you have these child protagonists in a cartoon, it's a cliche that I just personally, this is a taste thing, I find annoying. And then when they're kind of befriending Corbin and trying to get him to be like a better person, the random thought I had? Did you ever watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe?
I did. My brother was mainly into it, so I don't really remember a lot about it, but I remember, yeah, watching those old cartoons, obviously, like back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s, right. There was a Christmas special
Oh
that
boy.
had the scene I remember from it is that two kids are trapped on a spaceship that's crashed in like a snowy tundra with Skeletor. And basically, it's like Skeletor gets the Christmas spirit, and for some reason, that's all I can think about during this episode.
And it's Skeletor who has, it's look at the face and then look at Corbin's face.
I know.
Wow, maybe they pulled from that a little bit.
I
Interesting.
don't know, but man, my brain was just like,
Wow.
why can't I get this out of my head?
Yeah, I mean, but you are correct, and like immediately, just now being an adult watching this, I immediately go like, why are these kids like playing when there's an active volcano? Like, why are they even on this island? Like I get it. Like their father is there, and they live there because he's studying the volcano, but at the same time I'm just going, well, first off, where's the mom? Do they have relatives they could stay with at Metropolis while you're here? I mean, it was just kind of like they're just out and about with no supervision at all at the base of a fucking active volcano.
I know, right? When they're told if the evacuation alarm sounds, run home.
It was kind of interesting, and that's where we get introduced to them, and and we get the obviously well, I forgot what the kid's name, Serena. I forgot what the boy's name was.
It was oh my god. Serene. It was an interesting name. Bobby was the boy.
Bobby, okay, and then it was Serena, because I wrote down Serena, but I forgot to mention him.
Yeah,
but
Bobby was the boy.
Yeah. So we get him, of course, playing with some Transformer like action figures and blah blah
Transformers, blah. Or I kind of had like Ultraman.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I just saw Godzilla this week, and it was just like I know, right? So
yeah.
So I just had this weird, like, they were very, I mean, of course, because these were, either Japan. Actually, I think for this episode, I think this was probably like one of the Korean studios that were animating, but it still had a very like East Asia look to the toys. Like these aren't the kind of toys that when you would traditionally expect to see like in a Western market. So they had a very unique design to them. So
true that. And then of course, he's like, yeah, go play with your dolls, and that's what he tells her, and blah blah blah. And then of course we see Metallo surface from the water, and obviously he's no skin on him, no nothing, and then they're frightened. It's a monster, it's all that. So obviously they're going to be doing, but there is like you said, like they do that thing where they at first, and I could appreciate it, but I get I get the gripe of like, yeah, there's like, you have the kids, you have these kid protagonists that are basically going, that befriend him and kind of make him like seem like, oh, he's a good guy, because he has no idea, like not no idea, but he's
getting flashes, like he has robotic amnesia.
Yeah.
And I know it's a weird term. All right.
I like it though.
But there's also like when he saves Serena, why? Like that was the one thing. I mean, these shows are so good about the psychology of the characters. And there really was never any even attempt to explain why Corbin, even not remembering who he was, why save the kid? Like, what was his motivation there?
Good point. Because when we get introduced to him, he's just a fucking narcissist. He was all about himself and all about, he didn't have any kids himself. So
he wasn't just a narcissist. He was a hedonist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was all about the good wine, the sex. It was all that. It was the good life. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that he had that impulse to just save Serena, and just because obviously there's a rumble again, these kids unsupervised at the base of a volcano,
an active volcano.
Yes, where if there is an earthquake, guess what? Some shit's gonna fall down. some rocks, some falling rocks, and that's what happens. And yes, he does. He basically shields her from that, and it's just, yeah, it is pretty interesting. Like, why did he have that reflex to do that? Because we've never, when it comes to Corbin, when we got introduced to him, it seems out of character.
Yes, it does. And so I would have loved I would have loved there to have been some sort of psychological underpinning. Like,
Yeah,
why? Like,
yeah,
that
and
would
then
have been
also,
cool to explore.
yeah, and then we get this trucker who's like about to fall into the water. He's like, when that earthquake happened, I mean, we got gas dripping out. The thing is gonna like ignite or whatever, and he saves the trucker
No,
too.
that one at least I'm going to give a pass to,
Okay.
because the kids are prompting him. Like, the kids are
Yeah.
telling him this is what
True.
you should
Yeah.
do. So that way I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because it's not him instinctually doing something. It's him in a sense of law, like he
Yeah.
has no self knowledge, and he's being told, well, you should go do this.
Yeah.
Well, when
Because
he's got
they're
nothing else better to do,
true.
do that. That made sense to me.
Yeah.
It was just the initial impulse to save Serena from the falling rock that was just like, I'm curious, where did that come from? Because there's nothing selfless or altruistic about Corbin whatsoever.
Not at all. But he does save this trucker. And of course, when the trucker comes to, it's like, that's frightening. I just got saved by a robot, with again with teeth and the
There's teeth
green
and
eye.
the green eyes. Yes.
So creepy. Good design. I like it though. Even though, yeah, I get it. I get the gripe of like, oh yeah, it's like the T800, but again, what we said before, it's like it's hard to try to.
Not to do that. I mean, James Cameron kind of just like slid in there, was like, I'm going to be the first one to do this so that
Oh, God.
everyone else looks like they're just copying me. Good on you, James Cameron. I credit that.
Yeah, and of course, yes, they call him Steel Man, that's what we were talking about. Is like, obviously we know him as Metallo and Corbin, and they call him Steel Man because he's strong, like
The
Superman,
Man of Steel.
the Man
Yes.
of Steel, and of course that. Again, anytime that they're talking, he starts having, we start seeing flashes to when we were introduced to him, their fight and whatnot. Which obviously, when it came to the Metropolis edition, that when they showed that, I like how they take like the footage and they just put that staticky,
The staticky, like
and they put like the REC like over in the corner, that hey, somebody filmed this kind of thing, which it's fine. I appreciate it,
but it was actual footage from
yeah,
one of the Metallo episodes. So it's just like, cool. I like it.
no,
I also appreciate the fact that the studio doing this episode was the same studio who did that episode. So the animation was consistent throughout the episode. You didn't get a flashback that looked like, well, that was a different studio who did that episode.
No, it's consistent for sure. And then we're back at the Daily Planet. We got Jimmy. We got a Jimmy Olsen little cameo here. Just one little part that he's in this episode. And, he's just talking about the trucker who got saved by a robot, which, of course, sounds ridiculous. Like, if you were like reading that whole thing. But, of course, Clark is like, that sounds like somebody that I might have fought a year ago.
Which, by the way, we get a timestamp.
True. They do say the year, that it's been a year. So, and they're wondering, is he just rusting at the bottom of the ocean, or what's happening?
I like, is he rusting or is he resting? Oh, good one, Angela. Good one. That was clever. I'll give that.
I'll give that too. I like that. And then he walks into Perry's office to be like, hey, maybe somebody should investigate this, but we all know that Lois is already on it, because that's Lois for you.
And she even basically says, isn't that your speed, Kent? It's like, oh, nice.
Typical Lois right there. But but we all know that, well, he's gonna Superman's gonna show up and of course do all that. And I like the fact that Superman just shows up to Professor Hamilton. We get Hamilton back, and obviously he needs to borrow a certain suit.
I like it. I'm going on a trip, and I thought I need a change of clothes.
Yeah.
This is like, I like it.
Tim Daly, gotta love him again, as always. And also, I want to take a a little time to say like, hey, happy birthday to Ren, rest in peace still, Kevin Conroy. He just had a birthday
He
this
did
past.
just have a birthday. I
Yeah.
think it was yesterday,
Yeah,
wasn't
I
it?
think it
Yeah.
was. It was yesterday. So I wanted to say happy birthday to that legend himself, Mr. Kevin Conroy. He is sorely missed when it comes to all this. Is it true though that that Suicide Squad anime, is he voicing Batman in that?
No, no, no.
Okay.
No, it's not the anime.
Oh.
They recorded line. He's in that Suicide Squad kills the Justice League video
Okay,
game.
the video game. Okay, I was scrolling through my Twitter earlier, and I saw like somebody list a cast, and I thought it was the anime. Okay, that because that didn't make sense to me. I was like, wait a minute, that why would?
No, because the anime is all Japanese
Yeah, I know. That's why it
actors.
didn't make
Yeah.
sense to me. And I was like, okay, so I'm glad I
No,
cleared that up.
because all those people who are getting like all those people who signed the NDAs, like RJ, who
Oh
are
yeah,
playing the game right now. Because Travis Snell's playing it, RJ's playing it, and it's the last thing Kevin recorded as the character before he
that's what
passed
it is.
away. So yeah, because I remember when they did the trailer and after he died, and then remember they showed that scene
That's
of him,
right.
and they did the "Thank you, Kevin," as sort of like their in memoriam to Kevin. But no, that's what everyone's
Yeah.
talking about.
Okay. Like I said, I was scrolling quickly, and because I was having breakfast with my dad and everything, and I just saw it quickly, and I was like, "Is he in the anime?" And I was like, "That can't be right. That doesn't even make sense." So thank you for clearing that up. So
Hey, no thumbs up bubble happened. Okay.
no thumbs up bubble happened. Maybe that update you had on your camera didn't. It worked. It helped with that or something, which is interesting. Still interesting when it comes to that. So yes, he gets a kryptonite suit, and then of course, okay. So I want to ask you this:
Okay.
it comes to these kids and their dad. So we see that we see their dad.
Professor Felix is his name.
Okay, do we have a voice for
Oh,
this?
oh yeah, we do.
Okay. Tell me.
No,
Tell me if I get this right.
okay.
Is it the voice actor who did Winston in Ghostbusters?
No,
Oh, I thought it was. It sounded like him.
there's a reason for that.
Why?
Because it's Ernie Hudson.
Ah, Jesus.
It's not the voice actor. It was the actual guy.
That's ridiculous. I thought it because I was like, that sounds familiar, and I thought it was. Sorry, that just wow,
That just made my night, Dave.
dude. That is so great right there because I was like, that voice sounds so like familiar, but I'm like, well, it sounds like Winston, but my brain went to the real Ghostbusters as
Ghostbusters. Yeah.
opposed to the actual. That is so. Oh my god! Wow,
That is a new level, Dave. You've achieved a new
that
level.
is so great right there. I love that too. I love that too because I was going, is that Winston from Real Ghostbusters? But man, my brain went the wow, people. This is great. I love that. I love that's the
This
fact.
is like the best game we've played the
Dude,
entire time.
because I love it when I try to guess because I know you look and who the voices are.
Even if I don't immediately know, I always check the credits.
Exactly. And I always like to guess. That's part of the shtick that we have here at DC Fan-imated. And I really thought that was the voice actor who did Winston on Real Ghostbusters, but it turns out it's the actual
Winston.
It's so great. Oh man, I love that.
Oh,
Good old
it's
Ernie
so
Hudson. Oh,
Oh God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover from this day.
no, we're not. We're not. Wow. That's so good. So Ernie Hudson. There we go. This is not the first time he's supplied a voice in this, has he?
I don't think so. Maybe the first time in Superman, but
Yeah, was he in Batman?
I swear he did Batman.
Yeah, I think
You know what? I'm gonna have to look this up now. But
hasn't he supplied his voice before? Possibly. Man, that is so
let me
funny.
see.
I can't get over that. I can't get over that. So good. But yes, we meet their dad, who you could tell he's a little bit of a hard ass, basically telling them like, hey, if the sirens go off, we have to evacuate this freaking island. So, but again, it's like, why are you leaving them to roam around?
I know it's that
Father
makes
idiot.
no sense to me
I know.
whatsoever.
finding anything on it? I could have sworn
Yes,
we
yes,
talked.
actually,
Yeah,
yes. Now, I don't know if we noticed it or not, but um,
I think we did.
he was a security guard.
I think we mentioned something about it.
I think
Which
we did too.
episode?
It was the episode Joker's Wild, the one where Joker tries to get the casino.
Okay. Yeah, I know that. I know which one, but I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I could have swore that we maybe mentioned it. Maybe we did. I don't know. We've been, we're how many episodes in of all this stuff? It's
Oh,
hard
we're
to
we're
remember.
we're almost 90 episodes into Batman the Animated Series. We're
Yes, and we're 21 into Superman. So
man, exactly.
do that math. I mean, we're over 100 episodes. I mean, she's 100 and whatever episodes. So I mean, we're it's hard to remember like certain conversations that were had, but I think we did mention it because I was like, when you said it, when we're talking about Ernie Hudson, I'm like, I think we've mentioned him before. He supplied a voice at least, so he probably did. So, anyways, we love Ernie Hudson. He's always great.
Frozen
Anything?
Empire, can't wait.
What the what?
Frozen Empire, can't
Oh yeah, that's
wait.
right. Yes, I know. Cannot wait either. Jeez. And that trailer just hit me in all the right
All the
field.
feels. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm everybody knows I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. And yeah, can't wait for more of that. And the way that they left it off, of course, when it came to Afterlife. Anyways, so yeah, we get that, and then Father warns him about evacuating, blah blah blah, and then Lois questions the trucker, and I always love it too. Like anytime like an animation or obviously he went through something, so they always put that bandage. Like,
Bandage around the head. Yes.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
always
Yes.
like
Yes.
we gotta show people that yes, he suffered a little head trauma, so we got to put this bandage around his head. And of course, he's the typical trucker looking dude, overweight, got the freaking mustache that goes right down.
And the really interesting mullet, like with like the
It's that little stereotype right there, but it makes sense. It makes sense. And of course, he says he got saved by a robot, and it's like, yeah, it's true. And
and he
what he
mentions
looks
the
like,
kids. And
yeah,
I don't think there's too many kids on this island. As a
true.
matter of fact, they're the only kids on this
Yes.
island.
So I think,
Dad.
and Lois, of course. And did you notice her pen? Did you notice her pen? Yeah. Okay. So she has the pen. And
Okay.
this is one of those weird things that I noticed.
Okay.
And of course, anytime that you're like thinking and you put the pen to your mouth kind of thing, it's
Yeah.
got a little daily planet on top of it.
Oh no. Oh yeah. It's always had
Yeah,
the little Daily Planet
I
thing
know,
on
but I
top of
just
it.
never noticed that before.
You
I don't
never
know.
noticed it before.
No, because
Oh.
yeah, I don't know why. Because I think it was just zeroed in on it, and so I was like, oh yeah, it's little Daily Planet on her pen.
I think that's why I was curious what you were talking about, because I was
I
like,
know.
but it's always been there,
I'd
Dave.
never noticed it before, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was cool because she had it up to her face. I'm like, oh, it's a little Daily Planet logo on there, or like the globe. I was like, cool. Anyways, it's just little things like that we point out on this
I'm
show.
glad. Whatever makes you happy, Dave.
It did. Little things like that make me happy. Little things like that. I'm just saying. Anyways, so and then of course we get Metallo of course is talking about now Metallo starts acting like Metallo, because then he starts to say, "Oh, I'm from another planet, kids. I'm from another planet.
Because
I've
now he's had like he now completely remembers who he is. Like,
exactly." So he
because they
starts
meant
manipulating.
he saw that because Serena gave him that little Superman doll,
Mm,
and
right.
that
We skipped that. Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
fine. But that's what triggered it. He's just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like it was just like that's what brought it back, and he's like, now I remember who I am, and now he's full on Corbin again.
Yeah, and yeah, she made him like, I like how it was like probably she made it out of like clay and popsicle sticks or something like
Well,
that.
that was weird too, because when he crushes it, I was curious because I would think clay and popsicle sticks,
Yeah,
definitely popsicle sticks. But
yeah.
but when he crushed it, it almost looked like stuffing a little
Oh,
bit.
okay. So maybe it was.
I
Yeah,
don't know, but how would you
yeah,
have the popsicle unless it was
yeah,
cotton?
yeah.
Maybe
Could
maybe
be.
something like that. I don't know. But no, I understand why you would say clay. I would have thought clay too until
Yeah,
the way at least it crushed when you just did the yeah to it.
This is when we overanalyze things.
Oh dear God.
That's what we do here.
That's
Hey,
what
we're
we do.
we're a couple of 40-year-old nerds that are just
Watching a
overanalyzing.
cartoon. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Cartoons we love, so it's just us. It's our 40-year-old brains right here. Anyways, but yeah, that's where that's where everything comes back. So he starts manipulating the kids and saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm from another planet. I'm down here to give a message to save humanity and all the stuff, but I need a disguise to get off the island and blah blah blah." So yeah, it's just like, okay, now here's the Corbin that we know. This is the Corbin we know.
And he's manipulating the children.
Yeah.
He knows how to play to what a kid's brain would think is awesome.
I know, right? And then we got Lois showing up at the kid's house as they're looking for, they're looking at their
dad's clothes and
dad's
trying to
clothes,
find
like
something that would fit him.
Yeah, and then Lois shows up because, she knows where to go. I mean, again, there's only,
2 kids
only
on the entire island.
exactly. But they don't want anything to do with her. They shut the door in her face because
I love that where he goes, "They were lying." And she's like, "I'll put that down as a no comment."
yeah, that was a good line from Lois. A good Lois response right there. So, and then we got Superman that starts questioning the kid's dad, and then of course shit all starts going all wacko and crazy. The volcano starts to shake, everything starts erupting, and then of course more, and then we get like a cool Superman moment where obviously like there's rocks falling, boulders falling, so he starts like punching them.
Boom,
Yeah,
boom. That is so Superman. That's like Fleischer from that first.
Yes.
Where he's
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. With the rocks and man, that first Fleischer short. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, so good. So freaking good. But so he starts doing that, and then I love what he does too when the lava or is that at this moment, or is that
they did, because it's after he smashes the rock and
right,
the lava starts pouring, so he grabs that boulder and he basically uses it like a I don't know, like a hoe or trowel, and just like digs a trench to steer the lava away.
He takes a big boulder, just sticks it into the side of the mountain, and then pushes it to just create, like a little conduit to get to the ocean.
That's a good word, by the way. I'm proud
right?
of you. Yeah.
Well, I've worked in telecom. Conduits, that's a lot. You mentioned conduits a lot, so there you go. Right there, folks. Anyways, but so he does that and just tries to, so the lava just goes right into the ocean, which it should. That's obviously you don't want it to, go that way. So gear it to the ocean, to the water. And so then this is where, like, say, he does that, and then of course the we see we see Metallo's disguise, which is like the typical disguise that you would see in any cartoon, right? You got the hat,
coat with the sunglasses, the scarf, like
it's so like, okay, yep, that's like the typical like cartoon disguise.
Nothing suspicious about that
It's just no, exactly. That's what it reminds me of, like Back to the Future. Nothing inconspicuous, and then you see Marty wearing the hat, leather jacket, sunglasses. It's like, good job, Marty. Good job with that one. Because I mean, that's the joke, though. That's what's funny about it. But yeah, it's just that's when I saw that, I thought about Doc Brown. Nothing inconspicuous. And it's like totally like sticks out like a fucking sore thumb, big time, right there. Anyway, so and then of course Lois she's of course still in the distance seeing all that. Metallo sees her, and I like his line right here. Lois Lane, I'd give you a kiss if I still had lips. Oh, so there you go. There's the old Corbin right there, because remember how freaking creepy he was.
God, he was so
Lois.
horny. He was so horny in that episode. Oh.
And that line right there. I was like, okay, there we go. We're back. We're back, folks. And then I love how she calls him a walking waffle iron. I'm like, good job, Lois. I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. I dig it. And then, of course, the alarms go off because, evacuations happen. The volcano is definitely erupting. And And then obviously the kid's dad is like, wondering where his kids are, yelling for him. Superman finds a drawing of Metallo, sees it says Steel Man, so he's like, oh boy, here we go, got to find them. And then of course this is where the kids start realizing, oh shit, like because
he's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy because, they start talking about Superman, and Superman would never hurt someone. And then he starts freaking out saying, I'm not Superman. And, this is that time in the story when it comes to something like this where, oh yeah, this is where, it starts turning on the kids. They start realizing he's an evil piece of shit. And yeah, then we get Superman flying in with
the suit. Oh, so good.
So cool. So great. When he flies in right there. And of course they start fighting, and then they thought he was good, and then he of course Metallo actually says like, well, I'm Metallo kind of thing, and then we get this great fight between
such a good fight.
And this is where we're gonna start jumping into this right here.
Of course, this is gonna be the clip because we like violence on this show.
Of course, we love violence on the show. I always hate it though. Anytime that I do this and I have it already like saved and stuff like that, then freaking Max goes, oh wait, I'm gonna give you the circle of death when you go right back onto this whole thing. Okay, we're good now. I just have to refresh the page. Apparently it might be a Chrome thing, I don't know, but here we go. Right here, there's Lois, she's tied up, and here's Superman walking in, in the kryptonite suit right here. So here we go.
Kids out of here now.
Get these kids out.
Get going.
Ouch.
I know, right? But I'm kind of interested in the fact that this thing is like some sort of alloy that's going to protect him from kryptonite, be at a giant log smashes a hole in it.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that too. I'm like, the suit goes through. I mean, obviously it tears right there where his, the
nice S.
Yeah, it's like it's exposed now. And then that gets knocked off.
No, that at least makes sense. No,
that makes sense right there.
Smack you straight in the face.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that
I love the sound effects.
Sorry, sound effects are great.
Yeah.
But the kryptonite is affecting him, but because it's still so much of his body is still covered, there's like
What are they doing?
it has a limited effect on him because it's not like his entire body is being exposed to the radiation.
Very true. I was thinking that too during the fight. I'm like, he could still have, not like he's going or anything, but he's still struggling right here, obviously.
Now
so
this part, I love this. Yes. I remember this.
And you could tell, like, oh man, that's got to burn. That's probably like, when you get into a hot shower.
Yes.
That's probably like how that feels to him. And then, I love the part of the suit is still on him right there.
Because there's the part that he was grabbing on so it didn't get hit by the lava. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then, of course, they're like, yep, that's the reason why he's getting weaker. Uh-oh.
Oh, that.
You're right there. I love it. Yeah, that's a good shot right there. Look at that. Have a drink on me.
And I love like all the different like lighting effects. Like he's got the reflection of the lava glowing on him, but he's also got the kryptonite glowing in his chest. I mean,
good animation.
Good animation.
Mm-hmm. Steel Man is dead, and so are you, Superman.
But I also love the fact that it's so cool that because he still has the glove on, he can
hold it. Yeah,
he can hold the kryptonite.
Yep. And then of course,
gotta get it. Well, that makes sense. I like that because it's literally his power source.
Yeah, he needs that. There's no way that exactly. And then of course we got the animated series explosion sound effects we love to hear.
Oh,
dramatic, so dramatic. Dante's Peak. I don't know why.
Oh wow, there we go.
Yeah, right. I love that movie.
What was the other volcano movie that came out the same year?
Volcano. That was with Tommy Lee Jones, where the volcano in LA. I also love that movie too.
I've only seen Dante's Peak. Like every time there's like the two movies, there's only like one I've seen. It's like I saw Armageddon, I didn't see Deep Impact. I only saw Dante's Peak, I didn't see Volcano.
Oh man, you got to watch Volcano. It's great.
I saw The Prestige. I didn't see The Illusionist.
You know what? I'm with you on that one. I actually didn't see The Illusionist either, but when it came to the other two, I saw both. But what Deep Impact wasn't as entertaining as Armageddon, but still good. But I would suggest watching Volcano.
Well, it's got Tommy Lee Jones. You just
exactly. It's I think Dante's Peak was better, but
here's Brosnan.
Yeah. So there we go. Look at that shot right there. I love that shot.
That's a great volcano shot there.
Great volcano shot with the music and everything. Woo! But obviously, we know that this is. I mean, it's not even that much left. You might as well just watch the rest of it because the way that it ends, it just.
How could Steelman do those things?
Obviously, we got the kids saying that
He
they're.
was while he was with you.
While
Whatever
with
goodness
you.
he had, though, got buried along with the rest of them.
And there's the dad, voiced by Ernie Hudson.
Great Superman shot right there.
Yeah, like that Superman shot flies off, but yeah, this ending right here.
It felt like a season 1 ending where we got those little stingers like at the end of every episode.
God, the music, and then I was like, yes, I remember this shot because of how creepy he looks in the lava, obviously, solidified or whatever that, but it's just God. And then his voice. His voice is just man.
Malcolm McDowell just selling this.
Selling the shit out of it. And the eyes still lit up. Oh God.
I am Metallo.
I am Metallo.
I am Metallo.
Oh, I did the fact that the eye goes right
so
there.
good.
Oh, it's so good.
I love that.
Oh man, I also love the fact that I realized that because they reused now Shirley Walker didn't do the score for this episode. This episode was scored by Lolita Ram. I never remember. I can never pronounce Lolita's last name. It starts with an R. One of the 3 that becomes like the big ones because there's always Michael McCuson, Lolita, and Christopher Carter, who are the ones who kind of like when Shirley Walker kind of, handed over the reins. Those 3 kind of as a trio became like the composers for the animated universe. But I love how I realized from the last Metallo episode that Metallo has a theme. And it's that it's the strings. You can hear all the and I just like
love that.
Oh, I love it. I love it when individual characters.
That's what I was gonna get at right now.
Yes.
Yeah. When and man, I mean, even just going back to the whole Terminator thing, that we, that's been a common theme when it comes to this episode. Is like, one of the best things, like when you have individual characters have their own themes. One of the best things about Terminator 2 is that when John Connor's in between the T-1000 and the T-800, and you hear both their themes merge together, that is if you want to know what fucking cinema is, that's fucking cinema. When you hear the T-800, you hear that, and then you hear, and that slow motion, and then get down. Oh man. I love that scene so much because you hear, like, James Cameron's like, yeah, you got to have both of their themes just merged together. It doesn't even sound like they should merge together, but it's just the fact of what's happening on screen.
That's amazing music when you have 2 things like they shouldn't belong together. Like just yeah.
God damn, so good. But there you go, guys. Action figures right there. Fun episode.
I think that's what I think that's where I would rate it. Fun episode.
Corbin back, and won't be the last time, of course. And man, it's like one of those, and it's not Batman in the basement, but when let's face it,
nothing is Batman in the basement. Nothing is like a Batman in my basement.
Yes, exactly. But fun episode. And what do we got next week?
Ooh, still Metropolis.
Okay.
The episode is called Double Dose.
See again, and oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. We've talked about this, when a certain purple guy, it was like, oh yeah, there's like a time where he might team up with a certain other blue
villain,
that we talked about too.
Did you look at the
I looked at it right now, but I remember we talked about
we did. I think it was like the second Parasite episode.
Yeah, and we talked about like this where I think we were talking about when he shows up again, and we kind of like teased it already where there's going to be a little bit of a team up that happens. So
it's a good episode from what I remember.
Yeah. So. I remember, same here. I remember something, Yes, Ryan in the chat. Yes, Parasite, certain purple guy. I think you figured that out pretty well. And then if you, I think you could figure out the other one too. A certain loudmouth. what are they? Shock Jock, that we talked about before, who has a very familiar voice, by the way. And so, yeah, we'll be talking about that episode. What's it called again? It's called
Double Dose.
Double Dose. That's what it is. So make sure you guys watch that, and we'll be right back here next Sunday talking about that and nerding out. And if Ernie Hudson shows up in that one too, well, that's I love that. The fact that I went to the
cartoon
and not just Ernie Hudson, and I'm not that. I mean, I guess that kind of shows you that they did really good with the voice acting of real Ghostbusters, and they found somebody that sounds similar to Ernie Hudson.
But do you remember the story that Ernie Hudson auditioned for the real Ghostbusters?
Yes.
And they said they wanted someone who sounded more like
That's right.
That's the story.
Oh man, that's true. That's true. And then when it just talking about real Ghostbusters, what I always found cool too, a little another connection when it came to, because the voice of Peter Venkman in Real Ghostbusters is also the voice of Garfield. And did you know that?
I don't know. Like it's been ages since I've watched the Real Ghostbusters.
Okay, well, let me blow your mind here a little bit.
Okay.
Because the voice of Garfield, the Garfield cartoon, was also the voice of Peter Venkman. Who was the voice of the early 2000s Garfield movie? Bill Murray.
It was Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Oh
Did I just blow your mind right now,
You did
Scott?
just blow my mind.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So the Garfield movie that came out in like the early 2000s.
It was like
Garfield was voiced by Bill.
Like
yeah.
04, yeah.
Yeah. It was voiced by Bill Murray, who was Peter Venkman.
Man,
yeah.
God.
Crazy, right? Yeah. Man, this has been a mind-blowing fucking episode right here.
And so much Ghostbusters talk. I mean,
Oh, I love it. Absolutely.
Also reminds me of this meme that I saw of Bill Murray from Scrooged. And it's Jacob Marley saying, "You shall be visited by three spirits," and the next scene says, "I ain't afraid of no ghosts."
That's great. Oh man, I haven't watched Scrooged yet. I mean, I've already started my Christmas watch, but Scrooge that's top. Oh, love that movie so much. Anyways, guys, so we appreciate you spending some time with us. It's been a mind-blowing episode when it comes to voice acting and all that stuff. Man, that's gonna be, that's gonna stick with me. I love that. But we appreciate it. And like I said, we're gonna be watching Double Dose next week and talking about that. Should be a fun one as well. And go ahead and plug away, Scott.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter X at ScottDC27, on Instagram at McMurlin, and at Vero at Scott McClellan. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, where podcast can be found. We're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube with the entire. Excuse me. Oh man, whoa. I hate the winter.
I know. This is where people things start happening.
Yeah, it's been happening all week, unfortunately. You can find the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. And of course, we are a fan supported network, so head on over to patreon.com/squadcastmedia. I do know that Tim and Jordan just did a dry run of a different kind of streaming software that we are giving a test drive for the network. And you can catch the first use of that at patreon.com/squadcastmedia. So head on over there. We have plans. Like we've got some streaming ideas that we're cooking up over there. So stay tuned.
I like it. All right, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like, thumbs up, do all that. I'll see you guys tomorrow on Film Junkie Live, like every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Lots to talk about, of course. And do all that. And we love you, and we will talk to you later.